各位贵宾午安，大家好，欢迎大家来到2025 InnoVEX 的加拿大创新伙伴会谈。Good afternoon, bonjour, ladies and gentlemen, friends of Canada. Welcome to Canada Innovation Partnership Forum at InnoVEX 2025. Today we will showcase Canadian tech leaders in AI, cybersecurity, robotics, quantum material, deep tech, liquid cooling, and many more, with a group of innovators from Alberta, one of Canada's fastest growing provinces. Alberta has been known as Canada's energy province, and today its economy is increasingly driven by innovation across different sectors. We are bringing some of that energy here to InnoVEX today to explore the collaboration with Taiwan's dynamic ICT ecosystems. In total, we will have 6 presentations from Canadian companies, universities, and industrial associations, followed by a fireside chat on semiconductor innovation in Edmonton, Alberta. 今天的论坛，我们将会有来自加拿大亚伯达省产官学的专家，为我们分享他们在 AI、资通、量子材料、艺人系统、机器人以及 ICT 平台等领域的技术。亚伯达省素来以能源闻名世界，现在有更多的多元创新产业发展。 世界级的研究机构已经充满活力的新创生态，吸引了许多人才搬去亚伯达省。今天我们将这股创新的能量带来 InnoVEX， 希望与各位 ICT 的先进共同寻找合作的机会。So to officially open the forum, I would like to invite Mr. Ed Jagger, Acting Executive Director of Canadian Trade Office in Taipei, to deliver the opening remarks. 让我们欢迎加拿大驻台北贸易办事处竞猎人代理代表为我们做开场致辞。
谢谢 Thank you, Sonia. And I have to, you guys need to know that Sonia was only told half an hour ago that she had to MC this event because the woman that was going to do it, unfortunately, tested herself this morning and was positive with COVID. And Jeannie decided she didn't want to share that with you. It's a little selfish in my view, but oh well. So Sonia got thrown into the role at the last minute, and as you can tell, she's already doing a great job. And that's typical of our office. We have a fantastic office here in Canada. I'm very proud to in Taiwan. I'm very proud to represent the Canadian Trade Office in Taipei. And I'm very glad to be here on stage with our partners from Alberta because they really represent a growing and fascinating part of the ecosystem in Canada that we want Taiwan to know more about. If you were sitting here 15 minutes ago, there was some wonderful video on this screen showing some of the nature in Alberta and the snow and the skiing and all that stuff. And that's known worldwide, Banff and places like that. But what you don't know as much about is what's happening in Calgary, what's happening in Edmonton, and how many good and interesting things there are happening. And so this event is fantastic. It's an opportunity for you to learn a little bit more. We've got 9 different companies and associations here that want to talk to you about the things that they're doing in Alberta. And they are opportunities for you to work with them, for us to work together to build the Canada-Taiwan relationship even stronger than it already is. It's growing. It's getting better every day. And this Computex, we've got at least 30 Canadian companies wandering around doing different stuff. There's a good selection of them here at this event from Alberta. And so we're really pleased to be here. Very happy that we have this opportunity to talk to you about the things that are going on in Alberta. And I thank the companies that are here. I thank the TCA, the Taiwan Computer Association, for being our partner and allowing us to do this here today. And thank all of you for coming. And I wish you an interesting afternoon for the next hour or so as you're listening to these presentations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. Please remain on the stage because now we would like to invite all of today's speakers to on the stage with representative from Alberta Taiwan office to take a group photo, please. So all the speakers, please come to the stage. And the Arch and Miss Lian. Great. Are we good, cameraman? Okay, first the photo, please face to the camera in the center and smile. Thank you. Second photo, maybe let's do another one with Taiwan style. Do a thumbs up. Thank you very much. So at this time, may we ask the rest speaker to return to your seat? But Dr. Hongwen Zhang, please remain on the stage. You'll be the first speaker. Okay. Dr. Hongwen Zhang is the CEO and the CTO of Wedge Networks, who will talk about partnership in AI-driven, managed secured Wi-Fi services. Wedge Network is a leader in real-time cybersecurity solution. With a long-standing partnership in Taiwan, Dr. Zhang will announce a new service in collaboration with their local partner today. Wedge Networks 提供即时 AI 的资安防护，强化云端与 WiFi 环境的整体资安能力。那今天我们的 CEO 也会宣布他们与台湾合作伙伴即将推出的全新服务。Let's welcome Dr. Hongwen Zhang.
Thank you, Sonia. 谢谢 Sonia. 大家好 Good afternoon. Yeah, so basically that one thing you can see is that in this computer test, this is my third time attending the computer test. This time, there's a lot of AI stuff. We are so close to the reality where the workflow can be completely automated and the mundane daily work can be carried by robots, right? You can work the flow, you can see all those things. One thing is very important for this reality to be safe and secure. That is that all the intelligence systems need to be operating in a safe and secure environment. So in this presentation, I want to present an innovation that Wedge Networks, which is a Canadian software company, working with our local world leader edge core Wi-Fi manufacturer to develop a new innovative security solution to secure the digitally connected world, the new intelligent world. And quickly just go through this. I want to outline the key challenges. The number one challenge, as we see it, in this wonderful AI-driven centric world where the economy is going to be really liberated with so much productivity, we are still facing tremendous cyber challenges. As we know, in cybersecurity, on every day, there are about 600,000 new malwares created, which can generate a lot of damages to our economy. In addition to that, there's a lot of edge networking computing proliferations here, as you can see on the trade show floor here, right? Each of those, from cybersecurity perspective, could be a vulnerability. And on top of all this, it takes world economy tremendous amount of resources to manage today's infrastructure, right? To solve this problem, that's the mission of Wedge Networks. A very quick overview, as I mentioned, we are a Canadian innovator. We currently have we are in 20 different countries and regions. We secure more than 100 million endpoint devices. We have our own R&D, and we have partners. We go to market with partnering with others, right? For example, in here, I was actually reminded that we have also local Taiwan partners and customers here. So that's a very quick overview about Wedge Networks. What is very critical is that in Canada, in innovative environment, we work closely with academias. We work with University of Calgary, University of Alberta, and University of Ottawa to produce leading innovation technology to the world. And I mentioned that the cybersecurity challenges in the beginning. Our mission is basically provide real-time protection for the digitally connected world, right? So what we do is that we apply advanced AI to protect the new infrastructure. We also protect the AI infrastructure there. And the most important part is that the impact to the customer is very good. So that we are going to demonstrate very shortly here. And a very quick overview about our engine. I don't need to go too deeper. But one thing for sure is that we have a very well-trained large malware model that can inferencing through the network traffic if there is an attack or not within milliseconds, hence achieve real-time prevention. And we are the only one in the world that can do this. So the talk about today is really our partnership with a local partner here, EdgeCall, which is a leading manufacturer for Wi-Fi networking equipment. And one thing I want to remind everyone here is all the connected devices, robots, all this, one important part is that they need to be connected, right? Wi-Fi is actually the prominent connectivity method. To make sure this connection is secure is very important, and that's the mission of this partnership. The technology is evolving very quickly here. I don't need to actually go through the specifications, but there is a regulatory requirement, right? There are also the usability requirements there. So very briefly about our partner, EdgeCall, which is a leading Wi-Fi manufacturer in the world, right? So they have basically have a very large managed Wi-Fi networking called EC Cloud. Currently is about 250,000 access point. When you actually go to the airport, go to hotels, you're probably accessing their Wi-Fi networks. And the mission for us is actually introduce a security layer, so all the connected devices and robots, how these are being secured. And a lot of technical details, but I can say that the security requirement, including anti-malwares, anti-intrusions, all this together, and we basically provide the software to be embedded into the stack. And the usage is very simple. For any access point, for example, a hospital in the Philippines or a hotel in Japan, and all the service provider need to do is basically go to the portal, generate a token, and then basically enable the security services. For that, the managed service provider generates a monthly revenue also to offer the value to the customer there. And each month, it generates reports to basically demonstrate the value. This is actually from a real customer. You can see that tremendous amount of cyber attacks are being defended, right, defeated, and hence you can achieve all the secure computing, all the AIs that you can actually go through. And yesterday, 2 days ago, we basically have been working with our partners. This is a current deployment in the Middle East region for a very large warehouse where we have the robots and the IoT devices all connected through this secure network and basically achieve productivity delivered by AI, by the new generation of technologies. So in summary, and as I mentioned again, and AI is actually proliferating, and there's a lot of productivity gain. And for this to be successful, we need cybersecurity. And this example that I just presented is a Canadian software company working successfully with a Taiwan-based advanced manufacturing to achieve this very good outcome. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Zhang. Next, we will have Harpal Mandaher, CEO of Sarcomere Dynamics, who will talk about AI meets dexterity, innovation in autonomous grasping for Industrial 4.0. Before that, I want to share good news that this company just won the robotics category at the Innovation World Cup at Hanover Messe this April. 所以这家公司上个月刚在德国的汉诺威工业展获得的那个创新世界杯中荣获机械人类别的奖项。那他们待会会为我们介绍他们的仿真机械手臂在自动化方面的应用。So let's welcome Harpal.
Thank you. Hello? Perfect. Okay, you got to see the last slide. So the surprise ending is ruined for you. So this is us, Sarcomere Dynamics. What we're doing is, for the last 4 years, we've been working on building high dexterity robotic hands. And the general idea is, our premise is, if you could replicate the capabilities of the human hand, you could automate pretty much any task for industrial applications. And this is what I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes. And what we're going to talk about is basically what happens when a high dexterity, near human capability meets AI. So here's the reason why we're doing it. Labor, right? Global labor shortages. By one estimate, 85 million jobs are going unfilled by 2030, out of which roughly 9 million require the capabilities of the human hand. This problem is not going away. Global populations are aging. There are more people leaving the workforce than entering. Reshoring manufacturing is a big demand, especially in Western nations. Immigration, yeah, that's becoming a politically hot issue, so that's not a solution. And conventional automation, to fix this problem, is pretty much run its course. It's hitting a peak. And this is going to affect industries across the board. Everything from manufacturing, agriculture, healthcare. And what's happening is there's a capability gap between conventional automation, which is the grippers on the left, and the human hand. So what we're doing is by making a high dexterity hand, we could fill this gap. But the hardware alone is not enough. So we need to program it. Well, for the last 2 years, programming our hand took weeks, if not months. And that's not the ideal solution. So we need something different. So we started working with embedded sensors. These are tactile feedback. We started to work with embodied AI, either with NVIDIA and as well with Google DeepMind. Using their models, we are now able to put this robotic hand out in the market where it recognizes an object through point cloud and then makes a shape to grab that object on its own. So what we're doing is filling that gap between conventional grippers and the human hand with a smart hand that could react to the real world, dynamic grasping, if you will. This slide just shows you that even some of the simplest tasks in automation, such as what's called bin picking or pick and place, they're very difficult and complex. At the top is a structured picking scenario. These pictures are from a customer of ours in the automotive sector. This is the challenge they gave us. Just look at it. Even if parts are previously arranged and structured, it could be a complex shape that is causing an issue for grabbing. It could be a delicate component itself, like the circuit boards in the top middle, or the finish. Some finishes you cannot handle with metal parts because that ruins it. So we need something more. And once you get into semi-structured picking, of course, again, the shape of the object, the center of gravity, how they're stacked, it all adds complexity to the grasping and manipulation. And once you get the bottom of the screen where everything is part of the random picking, it gets very complicated. So all these are challenges that we're trying to solve for our customers. So this is where we come in. The video you're looking at, you're seeing on the screen, is a quick demo of our hand, embedded sensors. And for this demo, it is being controlled remotely with a control glove. And the purpose here is to show you the agility of it. The human hand is roughly 25 degrees of freedom. This hand on the screen is 20, 16 actuated, 4 under actuated. And the next model coming out is 24 degrees of freedom. That's coming out in end of May, like next week. So what we've done is with the sensors, with the AI, we could now do dynamic manipulation. This is being tried by various companies in semiconductor manufacturing, automotive manufacturing, as well as handling hazardous materials and chemicals. Anything to separate a human from the danger. Use cases, I already mentioned some of them, but the most, I guess, popular, if you will, the demand seems to be in complex parts assembly. Parts assembly and disassembly, to be honest. And the other great demand we see is in the humanoid market. Humanoid robots, as you're probably aware, are going to be general purpose robots that could be out and about working alongside humans, the service industry or even the industry itself for manufacturing. In order for their robots to be effective, they got to be able to use the tools and utensils designed for the human hand. That's why it's important to mimic the human hand the best we can. These are the 3 products we have right now. Starting on the left of the Talos hand, that's the $10 hand. In the middle of the Artist Light, that's been on sale since 2024. We're very pleased with the revenue coming off of that. And the Artist Dex, the high-def hand, coming out at the end of the month. And that's getting more for humanoids and high performance needs. All these hands outperform anything on the market right now. As far as speed, strength, and most importantly, they're very cost effective, well under $20,000. This is how we train the AI. One is with teleoperations, gloves on. I'm not going to play the videos here. Teleoperations where a human operator put gloves on. He does a certain job or a task. Machine captures that. Now we could dump it into the robot itself to repeat that. On the far right, you see digital twins. We create a digital twin of the entire robot. In this case, the image just shows you the hand. and we run it through various iterations so that AI get the job right. We set the success criteria, and once it's ready, we dump it to the real robot, and it's up and running to do the task that's needed. And this is it, my last slide, if you will. What we're doing, what we're facing here, what we're witnessing, I should say, is the culmination of various technologies, sensors, AI, hardware, and when they all come together, we could do something more than just simple automation. We are now at the verge of seeing real work being done by robots. No longer see these robots just dancing around and showing up and do nothing at the end. We're actually going to put them to work. That's all I got for you. I'll take any questions if you have any. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Harpal. I feel like to shake hands with your authors, the robotics hand. Maybe next time. So up next, we will have Dr. Megan Lee, Managing Director of Quantum City at University of Calgary. She will talk about Quantum City, your gateway to quantum technology adoption. So Quantum City at the University of Calgary is the quantum solution hub in Alberta, dedicating in building quantum ecosystem and moving technology to solution. So let's invite Megan to to open.
Thank you very much. I don't think it's fair for me to go right after someone who won a pitch competition, but I'll do my best. So hello, everyone. My name is Megan, and I'm the Managing Director at Quantum City. I've built my career across the innovation spectrum from research to all the way to operations at a publicly traded biotech company. And over the years, what I've learned is that innovation doesn't just come from one single brilliant mind, doesn't come from an iconoclast. It comes from a healthy ecosystem where networks and processes are interconnected and no one's falling through the cracks. So that is what we're doing. Quantum City is building a vibrant quantum ecosystem in Alberta, Canada with global reach. 2025 is a UN International Year of Quantum Science and Technology. I'm delighted to be here with you today. So I do see a distinguished scientist here, but for those of you who doesn't know what quantum science is, it's essentially a study of something very small. And I'm talking at atomic or subatomic level. So every day we see things around us and they're governed by classical physics. So it feels very intuitive, things fall to the ground, there's an action and reaction. But when you get to that small level, they're governed by quantum mechanics. So things get weird. That's when you hear terms of entanglement and superposition. And when you harness that weirdness through a beauty of engineering, that's when you get quantum technology. And this is the fascinating sector that is rapidly growing. Market research shows that by 2035, quantum computing sector alone will have about $1 trillion of economic impact. So Quantum City supports all three applications that are stated in National Quantum Strategy of Canada. So that's computing and sensing and communications. So computing, the popular topics are optimization, quantum machine learning, and yes, we do believe that quantum will improve AI. And of course, there is a quantum chemistry simulation. So pharmas and automotives are investing in quantum computing sector, hoping for that next discovery of drug compound and new materials. And quantum sensing is also a growing sector, and the hot topic is navigation in GPS-derived environment. And of course, quantum communications are also important because we believe that quantum computers will essentially make all the encryption that we use right now useless. So we want to create a quantum-safe communication. So Quantum City's vision is a global quantum solutions hub where quantum tech becomes quantum solutions. We will be the place where people come to start their quantum adoption journey, will be the place where quantum companies come to be successful, supported by a healthy ecosystem, and will be the place where quantum technologies are actually solving problems and challenges we're facing. So over the next few minutes, I want to state three things. So one, Quantum City is located in Calgary, Alberta, however, with global reach. Number two, Quantum City supports the entire quantum ecosystem, however, with the focus on quantum adoption. Number three, quantum technology is a long-term investment. However, there are several ways you can get engaged right now today. So Quantum City is located in Calgary next to beautiful Rocky Mountains. Of course, our headquarters in Calgary with our building that we can host startups and entrepreneurs and faculties and students alike. And our fabrication facility for device makers will be located right next to the headquarters. Calgary recently became the X Prize's only North American international hub. Some of you might have heard of Google X Prize, Google Quantum X Prize. And we are fortunate across Alberta, we're fortunate enough to have some of the world-class quantum adjacent organizations such as Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute, known as AMI, also our Alberta Create Center, which is a world-class fab facility for quantum and nano. And we have engagement, of course, with major quantum computing companies such as IBM Quantum and AWS. And really, our global reach is accomplished by our corporate partners. One is our partner, Kai Ventures, on the startup creations and investment side. It's a Switzerland-based VC fund focused on quantum with offices in Japan and Canada. And they've chosen Calgary as a North American headquarters, and they actually run their startup accelerator program out of our space. So we welcome international startups every year from all over the world. And our anchor partner emphasis is an international IT services firm, and through them, our global reach is even greater. Second, Quantum City supports the entire quantum ecosystem. So with Quantum Horizons Alberta, that focuses on foundational research, and with 3 universities that focus on discovery, on R&D, Quantum City focuses on the commercialization and adoption side. And you would ask, how do we actually do that? It's essentially by ensuring that those 3 elements exist in the ecosystem: talent, infrastructure, and opportunity. Talent, we are creating a pipeline to talent and experts so quantum companies can hire new employees, and also quantum adopting companies can have their quantum workforce. And also infrastructure, we want to create and operate enabling infrastructure. By that, I mean fabrication facility and access to different quantum computers for faculties and students and companies alike. And finally, we want to narrow the gap between quantum tech and quantum solutions. We're creating creative and friendly environment for corporates to start their quantum adoption journey and experiment with quantum. So finally, I'll just go over some ways of getting involved with quantum right now with us. So if you're new to quantum and seeking to learn and explore its potential, we have our events, our workshop and discovery workshops that are often offered for free online, virtually. But if you're actively developing quantum use cases, we also have use case development programs that are supported by our scientists and residents in quantum computing and also in sensing and communication. But if you're actively seeking practical applications, potentially in collaboration with innovators and global startups, we can achieve that by our corporate partner, Kai Ventures. So I'll briefly go over one example of how we work with the corporate. So we work with a corporate called CNRL, Canadian Natural Resources, which is okay, I have a 3-minute warning. It's the last slide. So it's a major oil producer in Alberta. So they've had, of course, as a typical company, they have problems they're always facing, and there are a couple of problems they have been trying to solve using classical machine learning method, and they've got to a point that just weren't getting any more. So they wanted to try quantum computing and see if they could solve that problem. And one of the problems was coming up with a new compound to speed up the process of water treatment after the extraction. So we work with them, we work through a discovery workshop, we work with them, we found the problem that was quantum relevant, we turned that into a quantum relevant problem statement and made it into a global challenge. And the winner ended up being Accenture, which is a global consultancy. But that was our way of working with the corporate and helping them through the quantum adoption journey from the very beginning to the end where they got to evaluate potential solutions with us. All right, this is the last slide. So this is our annual event we do every year in November. So this is not an academic event. In fact, we have a rule, no scientific jargon. So every panels, we put quantum creators and quantum users together and really discussing the benefits and risks of quantum and the use cases of quantum that are happening now. So this year, we'll have it in November in Calgary, and we'll also have an investor forum. So we're expecting quite a bit of policymakers in government and VCs from around the world. We typically see about 300 people, and last year we saw delegations from Korea, France, Switzerland. So this year, I hope to see some of you there. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lee. Our next speaker is Professor Naser El-Sheimy, Chairman of Microengineering Tech, who will present AI-driven platform offering HD mapping, geospatial analytics, and the real-time spatial insight for automotive, robot, last-mile delivery, and smart infrastructure. And allow me to highlight Dr. El-Sheimy. His research and education contribution is highly recognized and earning the fellowship in Canadian Academy of Engineering and the U.S. Institute of Navigation. Let me say it in Chinese. So Dr. El-Sheimy 他在地理资讯跟那个测绘领域中的研究跟教育贡献广受肯定，因此获得加拿大工程院以及美国导航学会的院士。那他所创办的公司结合 AI 与感测器的高精密度定位平台，用于自驾车、无人载具跟智慧基础建设。Let's welcome Dr. El-Sheimy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandy, for the nice introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. Honored to be here as part of Canadian delegation to present to you one of the products of my company, Micro Technology Inc., abbreviated METI. And the product is called Gulu Gulu. For those who doesn't know what Gulu Gulu is, a wolf wren, a Canadian wolf wren that doesn't see much but can sense everything around it. So it has a good, connection to Canada. So a bit of introduction about METI. We're proud to be a Canadian Calgarian company. I started this company about 13 years ago with only 2 people. Now we are about 1,500 people of diversified team with expertise ranging from mapping, positioning, GPS, and digital twin, and AI. We currently have 4 offices in US, Calgary, Egypt, and China in Jinan. And very soon we'll be proud to have start our office here in Taipei with also former graduates from University of Calgary that they are already professors in Taipei and NCQ. So we already started hiring, I already did a lot of interviews here in the last couple of days. So it's a great opportunity to be here. So what I will present today to you is one of our products, which is, as I mentioned, called Gulu Gulu, with the objective that we solve some of the challenges that's facing autonomy nowadays. Of course, we are all witnessing, not only with new cars, but also in this show, that the current and future autonomy or autonomous vehicles will integrate every sensor you can imagine that will give us the ability to replace human, right? As a driver. So as human, we see, and that's why we need cameras in the car. We sense depths, and that's why we need laser scanners in the car. You need to know your position, and thus we need GNSS in the car, and so on. So the beauty of autonomy is that it's a true multi-sensor system that will replace humans in the future. The only problem is that still there is lots of barriers for autonomy, and one of the simple, examples to understand what is the difficulty. In GNSS, as you know, GPS does not work everywhere. So, for example, does not work in underground tunnels. Some of the sensors, specifically in countries like Canada, will be covered by snow in winter, and therefore cameras might not work. Right? Other sensors like laser scanners will be diffused, and so on. There is also the cost. Right? OEMs nowadays are looking for low-cost sensors that can do the same, right? Level of autonomy. Right? And at the same time, also we need what we call, creating high-definition maps that are needed, right, for the cameras and the laser scanner to see exactly as humans see in a car. So in order to overcome that, actually in METI, we generated actually a number of modality. And all our modalities are actually libraries, which the beauty of that is that you can work with any OEM, we can work with any automotive company, we can work also with any tier ones. And our modalities actually has a number of functionality. The first one, we have actually one of the very unique AI positioning system that can maintain 30 centimeter accuracy all over, everywhere. And 30 centimeter is very critical because this is the requirement to keep a car within a lane. The second one is definitely an AI engine to generate maps that are needed for, again, autonomy. Many of the autonomous systems right now, specifically working in San Francisco or San Diego, they rely almost 80% on having what we call high-definition maps, right? So sensors not only enough for autonomy. The third one, of course, is generating what we call revenue through AI, ABBs, and I will show you just a couple of examples. Unfortunately, I only have 8 minutes, so I can only show you maybe a couple of examples or 3 examples for what Gulu is all about. The first thing is that, of course, we have our own demo system. In order to show and work with OEMs, we have to show them real-time systems that work in real time with every sensor that they can imagine. So our Gulu system can take every sensor that currently in the market. We are not married to any company. We're not married to any trade, but we can take any cameras, any GPS receiver, any inertial sensor, any radar, any LiDAR system, and thus allow us to be flexible with working with different customers. So the first example I will show you, this is actually an example of how we can achieve autonomy with 30 centimeter that meets currently what we call L3. And I'm not quite sure, everybody knows L3 means that you can actually drive within a lane, right, and help the car to maintain its, lane-level navigation. This is the first engine. This is totally, fully autonomous. We did this test with our customer in Finland about 3 months ago. Another application here just shows that we overcome one of the major challenges of autonomy is that working everywhere without GPS. And one of the typical environments that GPS does not work is underground. And in this case here, I'm just showing you one of the modality for Gulu, where we work only with cameras and an IMU, and we can actually navigate underground for hours. For those who know this area, they know that inertial system and cameras can drift with time. But we definitely, with our modeling techniques and AI modeling techniques, we have actually overcome that by specialized, error modeling techniques. The second example of what Gulu can achieve is what we call revenue generation through ABBs. And one of our ABB is road assessment management, where we will be able to use, for example, the cameras from our system or your car in the future to do assessment of what we call road conditions and generate automatically reports that for transportation department to know exactly where the maintenance should take place. Another example is labeling. So right now we are working actually with a number of OEMs in San Francisco in order to generate what we call a labeling that is the first level of HD maps for autonomy. So all that is done automatically without almost user interference. So this is just two examples. Of course, since we are lucky that we're not only addressing one market, we're addressing a number of markets. One is navigation, another one is HD maps, a third one is what we call AI agentic models. And in this case, actually our TAM model, our TAM, or total addressable market, is really very large. And this is not our prediction. It is the prediction of many international reports saying that this market will be reaching almost 75 billion in the next 5 to 10 years. And we did our simple math, and if you only capture 5% of the SAM, we are expecting almost 450 million in the next 5 years. We have a very strong global team that has been successful. I myself has a spin-off a number of companies. A couple of them has been already acquired by New York Stock Exchange companies in about 7 years ago. And others like Warner was a CFO of Novatel, one of the largest companies in the world for GPS. He led the acquisition of Novatel by Hexagon. We have, of course, started our team already. Our team in Taipei already started. So there's 3 new hires in Taipei, and Professor Kai Wei will be one of the leading advisors in this area. So last but not least, our business model will be very simple, right? Only licensing, which means that will allow OEMs to generate their own hardware. We work with them in integrating our software and save them lots of time and money. we are ready to work with OEMs and tier ones and or tier two. We already secure internal funding for us in the order of 3 million. But what we're looking for right now is mainly, finding partners that can test our current capabilities from Gulu. But of course, we are open to any VCs or investment in the company. With that, I would like to thank you, and thank you also the Alberta team here for the great effort they did in organizing this event for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. El-Sheimy. Our next speaker is Melissa Bouvier, Innovation Partnership Director from Deep Tech Canada, who will present Deep Tech Canada overview and opportunities. Deep Tech plays a vital role in bridge innovations, investors, and the industry to facilitate a dynamic deep tech ecosystem in Canada. It builds partnership within Canada as well as internationally. Deep Tech Canada 产业协会串联加拿大深度技术的科研与创业资源，聚焦于 AI、量子科技、能源、健康与太空等深科技领域。Let's welcome Melissa. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Bouvier from Deep Tech Canada. We are a Canada-wide nonprofit organization headquartered in Edmonton, Alberta. So if you're not familiar, Deep Tech is an innovation approach. It is a problem-based approach to innovation where you take emerging technologies and you apply them to problems in existing industries and sectors. So rather than it being a technology push up a hill, you're doing it as a technology pull. So this allows us to commercialize innovations a lot faster. It allows for a leapfrogging approach that shortens commercialization timelines. So as you can see, that is, in ag tech, communication and security, transportation and exploration, climate action and energy, and health and medical innovation. So at Deep Tech Canada, we have a bold vision and mission, and we want to make Canada a leader in deep tech. So what we do is we are an ecosystem builder. We enable collaboration across industry, academia, and government so that everyone together can be on the same page and we can express Canadian deep tech commercialization. So like I said, we are an ecosystem integrator. So what we do is we collaborate with all of the different partners and stakeholders so that we can help build the ecosystem. Canada is a very large country, so there's a lot of barriers between different provinces and also industries and sectors. So we try to reframe our approach to technology as a solution-based approach. We also support global market access and penetration. So we work with a lot of international partners to help support our industries and companies access these global markets. We have a large member base, and we offer several different services to our members. So we help with innovation road mapping and support their strategies. We do technology assessment and scouting. We offer networking and conferences and events. We help with IP strategization. We also help with data analytics and insights. So as I said, we do a lot of different events. We choose to make our events very intentional. So after our events, we do a call to action. I'm highlighting two of our recent events, Quantum Days, which was in Toronto in February, and then also we had a climate and action and energy event in Calgary in November. So following the summarization of these events, we pull together our partners and we do a call to action. We take the key insights and we want to make it such that there are actionable items based off of conversation. We like to tie our events into existing events going on or organizations. For example, the climate action and energy coincided with an ISO meeting, so we brought together those key international stakeholders and then also had our climate action event at the same time. So to date, we've had nearly 5,000 individuals participate in our activities. We've hosted 36 international trade missions that have had over 300 participants and, $120 million in export and sales. So here is a list of our trade mission locations, really hoping to add Taipei to the list in the future. So one of our key events is Quantum Day, so that is Canada's flagship quantum event. That is in Victoria, BC in February of 2026. So I would love to invite you all to attend. So we bring together academia, industry, and government, and all the key leaders in quantum. So we host keynotes, roundtables, panels as well, and highlight all of Canada's strengths in quantum and quantum computing, sensing, and communication. So Canada has a strong national network. We really work as a connector within Canada in the deep tech sector. So we're actively seeking to increase our network of partners. So looking for partners here in Taipei that can help facilitate access to the market here, as well as looking to collaborate with Canadian innovators. So here's a list of our members. And then we have several different Canadian partners. You'll see that Alberta Innovates, they are our innovation foundation within Alberta. Edmonton Global, they're here today. And then different provincial organizations and nonprofits. And then our international partners as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Melissa. I hope we can add the Taiwanese logo on your international partner slide very soon. Okay, our next speaker is Charles Robison, Marketing Director of CoolIT System, who will share insights on accelerating liquid cooling in the data center. So CoolIT is a leading provider of advanced liquid cooling solution for data center, high-performance computing, and other applications. And they have a Taiwan office since 2021. And also, you can find its liquid cooling unit in their partners' booth at M1110. So let's welcome Charles. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. I'm really delighted to be here today. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about liquid cooling, why it actually matters. I'm going to move into a little bit about us, because it's an opportunity to pitch my company, CoolIT Systems, and then really go through a little bit of our products. I'm not going to bore you with too much of it, but we do have a variety of them that are part of the solution stack. And then a couple of things at the very end about why we're different, why we're special. One of them is the fact we have an office here in Taiwan, because we need to, part of our broad innovation in the industry. So let me just take you through that journey. I'm not going to burden you too much with it, but I'll touch on a few things. So liquid cooling is important, especially in this market, especially with AI, because chips are getting hotter, right? So the densities in the chip and the circuitry in the chip is so much so that you can't air cool them anymore, right? And the other piece is that densities are getting greater. So if you walk around the floor here, you'll see the NVIDIA systems that have very highly packed compute systems in a single rack. So that's what we call rack density. So number one is liquid cooling is needed for performance. Frankly, AI won't work without liquid cooling. That's something to sort of register in the sense that you think of your traditional computer and the fan that runs through it. That isn't going to work anymore. So that's very important. The other piece is data centers, for example, about 40% of the energy consumed in a data center, and keep in mind about 2% or 3% of the world's energy is consumed by data centers. And 40% of that is consumed by air cooling. So if you can actually remove air cooling from the equation, you can turn that energy into compute, or you can save energy. So energy efficiency is another key part of why liquid cooling. And then, there's some really neat examples in the industry where we've taken the energy that's created in the chips and we've put it into things like heating a local area. So district heating, or even, for example, the Equinix, the data center operator, was heating the swimming pool at the Paris Olympics. So you can take that energy, the internet heated my pool, or heated my house, or a greenhouse. So there's other reasons, and liquid's a very effective means to transport that energy from the chip on out of the data center and potentially into some energy saving uses. So what you see here is really quickly, the facts. AI, in particular, is expanding the amount of data centers on this planet. And what you're seeing here is the light blue on the top shows the AI growth, and then the bottom is the rest of the growth. But basically, it's a 2.5 times expansion of computing power over the next 5 years. So that's driving growth. But as I talked to you before, chips are getting hotter, and rack densities are increasing, and at this point, we're at the point of no return. Air cooling is not an issue anymore. The AI revolution is powered by liquid cooling, and that's what CoolIT Systems is all about. So now here's the naked pitch. We are the #1 provider of, I called it cool tech in this slide, but essentially liquid cooling technologies for high performance computing, for AI computing, for enterprise computing. We've been doing this since 2001. Our office in Taiwan is a relatively recent addition, but not so recent in the sense we've been very actively engaged in the marketplace. And we also not only make equipment, and I'm going to go and show you some hardware. Again, that's what we do, so I'm going to show you a bit of hardware. But we also have an impressive services reach. And the services begin with engineering engagement at the very beginning. We're talking with NVIDIA, Intel, AMD, and we're designing our cold plates in conjunction with them so that they're highly optimized. We're working with server manufacturers here in Taiwan and other parts of the world so that we design our systems that are tightly coupled with their systems. And then ultimately, when we're moving our systems out, we're then deploying those, and we're doing them. Data center operators aren't really familiar with liquid cooling, so they buy something. And if you buy a fridge, you kind of expect it to get it delivered to your house and maybe installed. And that's the same type of thing that we do. And so we'll talk to you. We have about 200 data centers worldwide already. Most of them are supercompute cases. And again, we'll talk about that. We are headquartered in Calgary, just to touch on that, but we have, again, a very important design and engineering office here in Taipei. And then we have manufacturing both in Calgary as well as in China and Vietnam. So we are a global company in lots of ways. So here's what we do. This is our product ecosystem. So we produce cold plates. Those sit on top, and if you walk the floor here, you'll see these copper cold plates. Those sit on top of the servers. We produce the cooling loops. We manufacture that together with our partners, basically server companies. We produce all the piping that goes in between all of those. And those are called rack manifolds. That's up the back of the rack, but also the fancy chrome stuff you see on top of this image. And then the coolant distribution units are CDUs. And in the other building on the 4th floor at MyTax booth, we have one of our units on display there. So that's an example of all the things. We genuinely provide the end-to-end solution. As I told you, the services that go along with it. And here's a whole lineup of our coolant distribution units. I'm just going to go through this quickly. We make a whole bunch of CDUs. We make the piping systems, again, on the back of the rack, but also that connects to the racks of servers. And we make a variety of cold plates. So it allows people that are manufacturing server systems to go and grab this. I'll have that one, and I'll have that one, and I'll have that one, and they're able to manufacture and get time to market or speed to market. And keep in mind, these are highly optimized for the thermal characteristics for each of the chips. So it's not a trivial exercise. You don't slap down some copper. These are very much engineered parts. And then these are examples of what goes in the system. So again, you can walk the show floor and see this. But the very top, we actually eliminate fans. Fans can consume 20%, 30% of the power just of a server. If you eliminate fans, you reduce that power consumption. And so we have examples of full heat capture of fanless designs. And we've been doing that for several years now. Okay, so what makes us special? One thing I didn't touch on, I'll just back up here while we do this. We manufacture all of these things, okay? So we have scale. We have a massive new manufacturing facility, 25 times the capacity in Calgary, Canada. We also, again, have manufacturing throughout in Asia. So we manufacture this for scale, and we're able to support the industry, and that's really important. The other thing that we have is knowledge, science, the second S in this case. And we have a very substantial R&D effort in our Calgary office, as well as, frankly, development effort that occurs here in Taiwan. And that's to do with partnerships. Yeah, I won't bore you with a slide that's really an eye chart, but in essence, we have the full capacity to do detailed both partnerships as well as, frankly, future research. And so we're on the cutting edge on the next generation of cooling technologies for our partners in this ecosystem. My final slide. So just a little piece here. We're installed in about 200 data centers worldwide. Most of them have been high-performance computing, or HPC, supercomputers. We're in the world's fastest supercomputer. So the El Capitan supercomputer in Lawrence Livermore Labs it's an HPE Cray design, but it uses our liquid cooling technology. I mentioned to you the Paris swimming pool as an example, but for example, we're also in several of the NVIDIA DGX super pods. So anyway, very, very pleased to be here. I love the energy of Computex, and it's just a great opportunity to tell you what you're all about. We're very excited about what's ahead for us and for this industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles, for the very cool solution. So you want to see their liquid cooling unit, you can go to Hongwen, their local partner, Mytek's booth at M1110. Our next speaker is Dr. David Antoniuk, CEO at Applied Quantum Material, who will talk about quantum material, the foundation of the next industrial revolution. So what's highlighting is Applied Quantum Material is the first company globally to commercialize silicon quantum dot. This advanced material has a wide range of applications from nanolithography, quantum computers, photonics, quantum sensors, life science, smart textiles, and many more. So let's welcome Dr. Antoniuk. Thanks.
Thank you, Sonia, for the introduction. Hi, my name is Dr. David Antoniuk. I'm the CEO of Applied Quantum Materials. We are a company that designs, synthesizes, and manufactures quantum materials. And we believe that the next generation of devices, any quantum technology devices, is going to be reliant upon these new quantum materials. And I'm going to show you some examples today of what we're working on. So we started 9 years ago. We're the first company in the world to commercialize silicon quantum dots. We have distribution across most of the world, and one of the reasons why we're here in Taiwan is primarily to build a strategic partnerships with companies in Taiwan, and because you have probably most of the semiconductor manufacturing expertise in the world. So we do have some customers in Taiwan now. It's starting to happen. Our technology is quite pervasive in numerous market verticals. We're active in nanolithography. We have, I believe, 7 companies around the world that are using our materials to make quantum computers. Companies making telecommunications using silicon photonics, sensors, life science applications is going to be huge in the future. We're currently using our materials to make smart textiles, and we're actually putting our materials into cosmetics now. So to start off, we'll talk a little bit about our silicon nanoparticles. So these are materials that we started with. This is our very first product. What you're seeing is the image in the bottom there. Those are cancer cells that are being tagged by silicon quantum dots. The materials are benign, non-toxic materials. We can tag them. So the main product of our company so far right now is the silicone polymers, which we use for photolithography. These materials, you can see there, the work that we're doing is unprecedented in the industry. We then combine our expertise in materials and polymers to create these smart textiles, optical coatings, thin films, and a variety of other materials to enhance the properties of various textiles. We have expertise in making other nanomaterials that we can incorporate in to create various different modified materials. That Y shape there, that's nanocellulose that has been impregnated essentially with silver and zinc nanoparticles to give this nanocellulose new properties of conductivity and antibacterial properties. Lastly, I'll talk a little bit about the nanocatalyst that we have been working on. This is a new material, a new composition of matter that can make hydrogen at room temperature. This material is also very useful in breaking bonds for polymers, for recycling, and we've now created these new solid-state batteries. That little blue thing there, that is a moldable solid-state battery that has no lithium in it, no cobalt, there's no toxic materials, there's no heavy metals. It is made of common materials, and that is being used as a next-generation battery. So what are quantum dots? A lot of people don't know what they are. They're small 2 to 9 nanometer semiconductor particles. They can be used to create sensors. You see images of cancer cells that have been tagged. You see images at the far end of the lymphatic system that the quantum dots are mapping in the body. These materials can be used in a lot of cases for sensing applications to detect nanograms of biogenic amines. We can use it for medical imaging, diagnostics, sensing, cosmetics, etc. In 2023, the Nobel Prize for chemistry was quantum dots, but they were using toxic materials, unfortunately. It's taken us 12 years to develop this technology. What we can do with these materials is we can actually functionalize them. We can put biomolecules on our quantum dots that can attach themselves to cancer cells, proteins, et cetera, et cetera. So we can do quantum sensing, imaging, cancer cell detection, and therapy. We're working on new technology that will be able to kill cancer cells with these materials. And we've done the studies and testing that they're non-toxic to the body. In fact, silicon is used in the body quite frequently. Here's an example of our nanolithography. What we're showing is 7 nanometer feature lines that are clear as day. These are unprecedented. We're working with strategic semiconductor suppliers to take this technology down to EUV, and our goal is down to 2 nanometer feature sizes. Those are proposed in the next couple of years. So a lot of applications can be used with this material. We make a lot of other silica and silicon materials that can be used for polymer additives, high capacity batteries, high index of refraction materials. We're using them in industrial textiles, automotives, aerospace, and we'll be moving into drug therapeutics with these materials. So the little ones on the far right on the upper corner, they're like little sponges. You can put dyes and chemicals and drugs and stuff inside, and then we can use those materials for a variety of different applications. So the same thing that we can do with quantum dots, we can make with these other silica nanoparticles. So we can add all kinds of functionality. We make functional materials. So these materials can be used, we can put scents and dyes and metal nanoparticles to give completely new properties to polymers, to a variety of different applications that our customers are looking for. And one of the things that we can do with these materials is we can give them completely new properties. We can make them hydrophobic, hydrophilic, oliphobic, conductive, antibacterial, magnetic, whatever. We can combine all of these materials together to create completely new, innovative new materials. And these materials will be used for the next generation of devices, systems in the computing world. We have a facility in the Alberta area that we can make these materials and we can scale up the manufacturing of them. So we have lots of opportunity to grow and expand our operations. So we can incorporate, as I mentioned, into polymers. What you're seeing there is a piece of glass that's been coated with a polymer, and we can make it waveguide. We can make it waveguide so you can use it for solar window applications. We can then take PDMS, plastic polymer. We can put quantum dots inside. We can make bandages that heal the skin. because the quantum dots will penetrate, the light will penetrate into the skin. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about our new spin-off company. It is a nanocatalyst that we've made that can split water. What you're seeing there, those are pure hydrogen bubbles coming off of ordinary any type of water, and that is probably the biggest discovery in hydrogen technology in the last 100 years. So this nanoparticle was designed specifically to produce hydrogen. No oxygen is coming off. We can feed that hydrogen directly into a fuel cell, and it just takes air from the other half of the fuel cell, or we can take this and feed it right into an internal combustion engine. So we're talking to engine manufacturers, we're talking to water remediation companies, we're talking to all sorts of things. And it doesn't matter what type of water we use. We've used everything. So now, you don't need to store hydrogen. The biggest problem with hydrogen is the fact that hydrogen is cost transportation, distribution, storage, and stuff like that. We eliminate all that, and we make it on site. So as a result, water becomes your energy storage media, and water is everywhere. So basically, to conclude my presentation, we're looking at a variety of different applications, working with potential companies that we can work with in Taiwan to build out these materials and commercialize these things. So we have partners around the world. We're looking for strategic partners in Taiwan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. It's exciting to see that water now became energy carriers. So hope to looking for, Taiwanese companies are welcome to have a talk and develop the new technologies. Now let's welcome our final session, a fire chat with two panelists, Brent Jensen, Senior Director of Edmonton Global, and Eric Flaim, Director of nanoFAB at University of Alberta. So Edmonton is the capital city of Alberta, and the University of Alberta is the home of one of the 3 Canadian national AI centers. They play a vital role in fostering not only Alberta, but also Canada's innovations for academic and the industry. They will share with us how Edmonton advances secure and sustainable semiconductor innovation. So Brent and Eric, the floor is yours.
Hey. Today we're talking about some deep tech in the Edmonton region. Who's ever heard of Edmonton? Show of hands. 3, 4 people. Not many people have heard of Edmonton. Not many people have heard of Alberta. We've all heard of Canada, yes? What do we think of when we think of Canada? MTV, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. But there's other places. There's Calgary with their wonderful ecosystem, and there's Edmonton. Edmonton is Alberta's capital city. We're about 1.7 million people. We're one of the fastest growing populations in the world right now, and I'll show you some stats on that and why. We have $110 billion worth of GDP per year, and it's a large area, 10,000 square kilometers. So that $110 billion worth of GDP, that's traditionally in energy. Energy. We're the second largest petrochemical cluster in North America. Houston, number 1, Edmonton, number 2. We like to say all roads lead to Rome, all pipelines lead to Edmonton. And that's really our history. But we're so much more than just industry or petchem industry. We're YEG. So if you ever fly into Edmonton, I know you will, you'll notice on your boarding pass, it'll say YEG. That's our airport code. We like to think that that stands for young, educated, and growing. So if you remember one thing that I say today, it's YEG, young, educated, and growing. We're one of the youngest communities in Canada, median age of 36.8%, or 36.8 years of age. Under a third of the population is under the age of 25. Educated, 130,000 students registered in 8 post-secondary institutions. For a population of 1.7 million people, that's pretty high. 30,000 graduates per year growing, one of the fastest growing cities in North America. Alberta, if Alberta was a country on its own, which it won't be, but if Alberta was a country, it would be the fastest growing country in the world right now. Calgary grew at 6.2% last year. Edmonton grew at 4.8% last year. We've added 25% of our city's population in the last 5 years. It's growing extremely fast and connected. Although inland, we're more connected than you think. An inland port with a foreign trade zone makes it ideal for investment overall. Now, today, what I really want to talk about is that talent, that educated portion. Our talent is strong. So here, this is from a CBRE report. Edmonton's right here in terms of labor quality versus cost of labor. Up here is San Francisco. So you see how great Edmonton's talent is for the cost that you're getting that talent from. And then largely it comes out of this institution here, the University of Alberta. It's a top 100 university. It's ranked #1 in the world, in the top 5 in the world year over year for AI and in particular machine learning. The University of Alberta has put out 2 Nobel laureate winners. Dr. Michael Houghton, Nobel laureate winners. Dr. Michael Houghton, and recently a Turing Award to Dr. Richard Sutton. He's the godfather of reinforcement learning. Out of him started the Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute. Talent is extremely strong. 45,000 students growing to 60,000 over the next 5 years, 200 plus undergraduate programs, many international students there. But we're not just known for AI. We have a nanotech cluster. We're the largest manufacturing hub in Western Canada in terms of nanofabrication and semiconductor manufacturing. It's home to the nanofabrication facility at the University of Alberta, the nanoFAB, and home to 2 leading-edge nanotechnology facilities in Canada, the NRC and the nanoFAB. Without further ado, you don't want to listen to me. We want to talk to Dr. Flaim. He's the foremost expert on this and is the director of the nanoFAB at the University of Alberta. Welcome. Eric, the nanoFAB. What is the nanoFAB? What do you do? Where did it come from?
Brent, and thank you everybody for being here in order to learn a little bit more about what we're doing in the Edmonton region, specifically in the area of semiconductor fabrication. So my name's Dr. Eric Flaim. I'm the director of the Open Access Center nanoFAB, where we look to empower academic researchers and companies in order to create new technologies by being able to see at the smallest scales. And so what we functionally are is a 4- and 6-inch semiconductor fabrication facility where we're working really at prototyping and scaling up of semiconductor technologies that people are designing, whether locally or nationally across the country. As Brent highlighted, we're the largest fabrication facility, independent fabrication facility of its kind in Western Canada, and you can see through the various metrics that we have, the number of academic groups that are utilizing us, but over the last 10 to 15 years, the number of industry partners that are coming to us and looking to us in order to support their semiconductor fabrication needs. So over 50 different companies utilizing the nanoFAB on an annual basis. We have over 500 active users, and we train over 130 new HQP that are working directly in the nanoFAB. And the last 5-6 years, we've seen pretty phenomenal growth in terms of our industry activity and the revenue that we're able to generate in order to sustain our operations and facilities. And while, yes, we publish lots of papers, most of our work is in that translational piece of translating that research into commercialization and products that are making it out into the marketplace. And specifically at our facility, we have over 330 direct private employees that are working in the lab themselves, utilizing the capabilities that we provide mainly in the 6-inch fabrication capabilities.
So I'm always excited about what's going on at the nanoFAB. I love some of the stats that are here. You guys are doing it. Who else is in the Edmonton ecosystem that's doing it? What are they doing, Eric?
So we're part of a broader ecosystem within Edmonton that includes a Teledyne MEMS fabrication facility. So it creates an interesting combination of of research activities or prototyping activities that can start in the nanoFAB and translate themselves to a production facility for higher volume production. What we are mainly focused on in the nanoFAB is really in that prototyping and scaling up activity where people are able to come in with their ideas, have direct access to the equipment that they need in order to make that initial prototype for customer evaluations or demonstrations, MVPs, and then work with them to scale that up to a level when they need multiple wafers or dies. And then when it gets beyond our particular capacity, then there is another local facility in Teledyne that can take on those fabrication runs. On the bottom here, you can see just a variety of different capabilities that we offer. We're mainly working in photonics, quantum fabrication, more and more power electronics in 3-5 materials such as GaN, and we have many unique capabilities that are available on the fabrication side.
Okay, so how do people engage with this? It's a two-part question. How do people engage with this? And then the previous slide, I noticed your revenues. So you're making revenues, and I saw you've got industry revenues and academia revenues there. Can you tell me a little bit more about how people engage and what's going on with the dollars there?
So we have national impact from coast to coast. So if you're not familiar with the geography of Canada, we're in the middle there in Alberta, those two bigger clusters, that's Edmonton and Calgary. And specifically for the capabilities that we provide, we have academic and industrial users that are coming from all over the country in every one of the provinces that we have in order to utilize the capabilities that can only be found in our facility in Edmonton. And we have various models for ways in which people can interact and utilize the capabilities that we have. The first and the most unique feature of our particular system is that we're a self-service fabrication center. So we're really trying to empower the individual companies and their employees to be able to build their devices themselves. Because when you have that direct process know-how and you're in the lab making your devices, that's where we see some really interesting innovations that can occur in those product developments. We do also offer a fee-for-service model. Sometimes people just don't care. They want their devices made or they want some material analyzed, and so we'll just do up a quote and we will do the work on behalf of those particular clients. But the goal is to ultimately try to recruit people to our area through the capabilities that we have in order to then hire our very educated and young workforce. We'll also do collaborations with individual companies that maybe are able to do 90% of what they want to do, but there's one particular process step or one particular component that's really challenging or difficult. So then we can work on collaborations with them in order to address those bottlenecks that they have. And ultimately, we are developing a pretty significant talent pipeline so that companies can hire from our graduate students, our undergrads. There's a local college that does a semiconductor 2-year technical diploma for people working inside. So there's a variety of different ways that we can interact with people depending on what their needs or challenges are.
Now, I know you're growing, so we're going to skip over this. I really want to know more about the capabilities of the nanoFAB. If you can start walking us through some of this, and then we'll get into some examples.
So the slide that he skipped over, we're just in the process, literally this week, of completing the expansion to our Class 100 clean room. So we're expanding our clean room by adding an additional 2,400 square feet, and that's largely due to the increase in the amount of industrial activity that we have going on. So we'll end up having 2 separate sections of our clean room, one for more industry activities where we want to have greater control and tolerances over the process window on the equipment, and then one that's more dedicated towards our academic work where it can be a little bit more flexible. But if you come and visit us in Edmonton starting next week, we'll have this brand new expanded clean room after having our original clean room for about 20 years and growing the capacities that we have now. But in terms of the capabilities, so yes, we have everything, advanced lithography, plasma etching, thin film deposition, basically do any kind of semiconductor fabrication work that you might be interested in doing. What we've really built out, though, in the last 10 years is really on that characterization side of things. So we used to have lots of companies come in, build some multi-layer device, and then they were interested in looking at the boundary, the boundaries between these multi-layers, or doing a bit more of a deeper dive into the material analysis and the performance of their particular devices or systems that they were working in. And so the surface spectroscopy, material analysis, and advanced microscopy capabilities that we have supplement the fabrication side of things, all within one particular facility. So as you're doing the work that you're developing, you're more able to achieve the kind of outcomes that you want, because the staff that we have direct access to a full suite of capabilities, all under one roof, to work with you on the challenges that you might be facing.
Now, we're here at InnoVEX. We're surrounded by startup companies on this side. Many of them are scaling, growing. Perhaps give us a bit of an example on some of the characterization support you provide at the nanoFAB.
Yeah, so we can look at a couple of examples here. So we had a company approach us that wasn't getting the kind of characterization results that they wanted for the quantum dot materials that they were developing themselves in another jurisdiction. They found us and said, well, these are the results that we're getting. We need better sort of morphological analysis of our material. So we took in their sample, did some preliminary analysis in order to identify kind of challenges that they had with their sample. We optimized the sample preparation and the processing that would be needed, and developed new procedures in order to be able to get them the results that they wanted. And so in the end, through kind of developing more advanced instrumentation capabilities and our internal expertise, not only were we able to get them the morphology that they were looking for, but we could also give them the composition, the specific composition, which they didn't have previously. And so now we're working more directly with them, providing that quality control analysis of the various types of materials that they're developing, and looking at other types of characterization techniques that could be beneficial to them. And so they regularly send us their material now for us to be able to analyze. And so this is an example of a more fee-for-service kind of model, where we worked with them virtually because they were in a different jurisdiction. And they haven't gotten to the stage yet where maybe hiring someone locally in order to utilize these capabilities has made sense. So we continue on just providing the service. The next example is more on the fabrication side of things. So we had a company come to us saying, well, we developed this prototype in a different lab in a different jurisdiction. We're getting some good results. We want to scale this up now to 6-inch processing. And we want to be able to do that ourselves. Are you able to help us with that? So we were able to review their designs, make some modifications in order to fit the process windows and the tool set that we had, and then we could develop this low volume fabrication process at 6-inch on 6-inch wafers. Where at this stage now, this company is regularly doing 34 wafer batches, getting over 8,000 devices that they need, that they then bring to market. And we're working now with them actively on their next generation of this particular product that's going to involve some electrodeposition and some stealth dicing in order to achieve a smaller footprint for their device. And so this is another example where you may be having success in one particular jurisdiction, and then you find us and you come work with us, and we're able to drive that success even further. And we're not attempting to be all things to all people. So if they were to eventually want to move to 8-inch wafers or increase the number of dies that they would want, then at least they have the process know-how to be able to translate that to another particular foundry or service provider that they have.
Now, I mean, I think what Eric is doing and the growth of the nanofabrication facility is quite quite unique. I wanted to make sure that we have some time to take some questions from the floor in case anybody had any. None? Zero?
We like to ask in private.
Okay. So I think in closing, I'd like to ask Eric, what do you want to leave the crowd here today with? What do they need to remember about the nanofabrication facility at the University of Alberta? What do they need to remember about the University of Alberta?
Well, it's important to remember that in Canada, we have these capabilities for semiconductor prototyping and scaling fabrication, or scaling your fabrication needs. The facility that we have in Western Canada is the largest one of its kind. So if you're looking for a trusted partner in developing your particular products and your particular fabrication runs, then we're able to help with that.
In closing, we don't want to sell you anything. What Eric really wants to do is help you grow and scale in the Edmonton region. That's why we're here. Please approach us if you have any questions about the Edmonton region or about the fabrication facility. Lastly, I'm gonna quiz you. What does YEG stand for? Young, educated, growing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brent and Dr. Flaim. Actually, I'm very interested in nanoFAB, so I wish to share for the upcoming Semicon Taiwan, Canadian Trade Office in Taiwan, we are going to receive a delegation from Canada. So you may want to consider returning visit. And for 2026, Canadian Trade Office in Taipei, we are thinking of recruit a small delegation of semiconductor companies to go to Canada to attend chip nodes. So maybe we should make a stop at the nanoFAB. So please talk to all of us if you are interested in learning more. Okay, thank you. To conclude our program, we would like to especially acknowledge our partner, Calgary Economic Development, who made today's event possible. So we would like to play a short video to highlight the vibrant city of Calgary, which is quickly becoming an important tech and AI hub in Western Canada. So there's a quick video about the city of Calgary. Here we go.
We've been
There's a reason why I'm in Calgary. I think it's like an excitement almost, like an entrepreneurial spirit.
We've made a blood test to detect breast cancer.
We're destigmatizing mental health.
We actually won an Xbox exclusive partnership.
Purposefully creating change for women and women in business.
We're actually the original family that brought Vietnamese food to Calgary.
Really?
Yeah. We've been developing new tech for 15 years, and people walk in here and are surprised that this is happening here.
We're out to do great things in the world. We're connecting people with causes that they care about.
The small business community has been really welcoming.
I've been in tech in Calgary for 25 years now. It's so night and day different.
If you're not cool and you don't care about the world, then I don't work for you.
We say yes to ideas. We all rally behind people who have those ideas.
The more you build here, the more people want to move here.
Once people visit, they really don't want to go back where they came from.
You can fly, fish, golf, and ski sometimes within a week.
There you go. Met a lot of talented Calgarians who gave me tools and tips and tricks.
There's this feeling that we actually care for one another.
People work really hard here, but are also really friendly.
We're seeing a growth in VR, we're seeing a growth in technology.
Look, you can do what you want here. The sky's the limit.
We are building an ecosystem. We are building a future.
Businesses that are looking at Calgary as a hub, I mean, we've kind of got it all.
It's a great place to live and grow.
In Calgary, you are one or two conversations away from the biggest investment you'll get.
This community, this province is wide open.
They're interested in you as an entrepreneur, and they want to see you succeed here.
So, thank you all very much once again for being with us today. So please feel most welcome to talk to our speakers. After all, they fly all the way from Canada to Taiwan to meet with you. So in addition to our speakers, I also want to shout out for two names. One is Chad from Calgary Economic Development, yes? And also Golden Holly from CMC Microsystems. Yeah, he's here. He's invited by the host of InnoVEX to be one of the final judge for a pitch test. So please, thank you again for staying so late at the end of the day. And please mingle. And since you have been here, so talk to us and let's explore partnership together. Thank you.